status update for Mr. Armando Bacot?
Yesterday he continued to get treatment. Today I have him listed as limited in practice, and what that means is we're not counting on him doing anything full court, but we'll see how he does in the half court situation, and that'll depend on whether we move him to complete practice tomorrow.
Thank you.
Coach, the trajectory of Garrison, people say that is similar to Bryce. Do you see the same thing in what's happening with Garrison and what happened with Bryce?
I guess if you just look at the numbers, it could be, but well, they're two completely different things. Bryce was bouncy and athletic and had it and just had to learn how to work hard. And Garrison had the work ethic and the toughness, and just needed to get confidence, needed to learn that he could play effectively inside, that he could do the things that we asked him to do. And so it's been more of a confidence thing with him, and more of realizing how good he can be. A little bit of that. Bryce, Bryce's freshman year would go in and show you 2 plays and you'd say, wow. And then Bryce would show up 3 weeks and 2 days and 4 hours later, that kind of thing. And I love him. You guys know that, because he came during his 4 years farther than anybody I've ever seen. But I think looking at the numbers, but boy, they've gotten to that spot in completely 179.9 degrees apart from what the other one was.
Well, you've mentioned all year pushing buttons, and you've said I need to push the different buttons.
Yeah.
What does that look like in the past week and a half? What have you done to actually get the guys maybe to respond more than they were earlier? Is there anything?
When the ball goes in the basket, everything looks a lot better. I mean, it really is. We've shot the ball better. I still get so frustrated because we'll make some mistakes of guys. I say, guys, we just did this yesterday 31 times in a row, that kind of thing. But I think, we went through a stretch where I think we talked about it last week, 6 games. We needed one stop at the end of a game. We could have won all 6 games. We didn't get any of them. And so we've responded better before it got to that last possession, whether it's Wake Forest or State or Syracuse. In those 3 games, they made a little bit of a run, but we responded better ourselves because we made baskets instead of missing shots or missing free throws or turning the ball over. So that part of it, we've answered their pushback better. We've performed better on the offensive end of the floor by making shots and not turning the ball over and making free throws. And so we haven't gotten to that point in each one of those games that we had to have a stop. Because again, 6, I think I'm right, I'm pretty sure, 6 games we needed to get a stop, and we went 0 for 6. And so I think offensively we've played a little better in answering their runs, and it never got to be a crunch time, one-stop game deciding play. But I think that Christian's been a big part of it. I think Garrison, he goes 1 for 19, and then he makes 19 in a row. That's the reason I told all you guys I should have majored in psychology. But Cole's been so much more efficient on the offensive end of the floor. So the difference probably has been more on the offensive end of the floor, that we've been able to score, and we can answer people's scoring runs by scoring ourselves. And we've had stretches this year where it was really difficult to score. I don't know if you picked our last 3 games, our offensive numbers would look like they've looked for the first 16 years. But you can't do that. You got to look at the whole season.
You've said every time we've talked to you in here during the course of the season, especially the last couple of months, that the mission for the guys, the mantra was just get better that day. How much is kind of maybe having a narrow focus like that for these guys help them navigate through all the different things you guys have been through?
Well, we've basically been that way the whole year, but it's been received more emphasis when everybody said your season's over, you're not going to do anything. And so, because they're hearing all the chatter around, and whether it comes from their friends or their enemies, they still hear it. And so you have to make sure that they understand we are playing for something. We're trying to get better. And I think I preached that stuff first practice of the year. We want to be better today than we were tomorrow. But I think I emphasized it more when all the chatter and everything's going on around them. When you lose 7 in a row, guys tend to think, well, there's nothing we can do. Well, there is something you can do. And so even before we won the last 3 games, I tried to focus them even more so on that, getting better every day. And, you know, it's got 3 wins. It didn't have anything to do with those 7 in a row before that or whatever it was. It didn't show up as much, even though I thought, you know, some of those games, the Duke game, I thought we did a lot of great things in the Duke game, and it was a hard way to lose a game because there was 100 ways to win or 99 ways to win it and 1 to lose it. But I think that one thing after that game, we go up to Wake and we lay a rotten egg, and so then that's really when I started pushing even more that we got to get better each day.
What do you recall from the first time I guess, your first meeting with Christian in Charleston? What do you recall your impressions of him?
I liked him. You know, it wasn't I didn't see him shoot a basketball or do anything like that. I enjoyed visiting with him, and we had visited on the phone a couple of times. And I'm trying to remember, it might have even been Easter weekend. And I'd left my grandchildren and drove across town and went to see him, and just enjoyed visiting with him. But I had enjoyed visiting with him on the phone at that time prior to that as well. But I can't remember. I know I was at the beach with my family, and I don't know if it was Easter or if it was later. It's probably later, I guess. Do you have any idea? Sure. I don't know, but I was with my family, and I left and drove over to see him and enjoyed the meeting. But, you know, I didn't watch him shoot the ball, or it wasn't any basketball thing. It's just try to see if I was going to like him.
And what did you like about him?
Well, I shouldn't answer a question with another question, but if you have ever visited with him, you got to like the kid. I mean, there's nothing about him, and it hadn't been a smooth entire life kind of approach with him, and he's a guy that walks in, I just drop my head, and he'll do the same thing. I mean, we enjoy each other, we have fun with each other, but he's a good kid. He's a kid that I enjoy being around, and somebody said, you know, during the senior speeches, that's the first time they can ever remember anybody sitting beside me on the bench, that they usually sit on the floor, and he sat on the floor in front of me, and I said, sit up here, you know, and just I wasn't choosing him as my chosen one. I just knew that padded seat was a lot better than the sitting on the floor kind of thing. But he's just a kid that you enjoy being with, and when I see him 99 times out of 100, and I start smiling and teasing him, or he's teasing me.
Roy, what did you learn, the first time out against Duke? What did you learn about how they play and their team?
They're extremely gifted. They've got so many parts that can hurt you. They've got guys who can shoot from the outside. They got probably the most efficient scorer in our league inside. I'd have to remember I said probably or possibly. You know, I'd have to think about who it is. But I mean, he's a load. Trey Jones is as good a leader and as good a point guard as there is in the league, and he's so experienced and been through all the stuff. And I think he wills them to win some games, and I think that's, in my opinion, what happened here. He made a miraculous play, but great players do those kind of things. They guard you, they try to pressure you, try to take you out of what you're trying to do. They're, you know, if it's a dunk show, we're going to lose the show. You know, so they're extremely gifted, and I thought that, again, I thought that we had 99 ways to win it and 1 way to lose it, but they made that 1 way to lose it the most important for us.
Coach, Cole said that he guarantees that no one wants to see you guys right now. Talk about the emergence of confidence in this team and how important it is going to this Duke game into the tournament.
Well, I think changing everything the last 2 weeks, it's not just a Duke game. I mean, we've gone over there and gotten beat, or we've gone over there and won games. I mean, one year we went over there and won a game, and I said we're going to win a national championship. And then 2 weeks later, 1 week later, we got one guy hurt, and second week we got another guy hurt. And I thought that was as good a team as I've ever coached. So depends on how the kids feel. I don't know that, but I think the last 2 weeks has been really important to us. I would hope that nobody wants to play us ever. Not just this year, then that means that we're doing some nice things. But it also that, I mean, you know, if you looked in the standings, we're last. I've never been last in my freaking life in anything, and we still got to understand that. So I would hope that it is because we're playing better and not just because everybody's afraid of playing the 16th seed and you're the 1 seed in the NCAA tournament. You know, there's always that kind of fear that you don't want to have that. But I think we are playing better, and but we got to play a heck of a lot better. And if we want to have a chance to win Saturday, we got to play a heck of a lot better than we have in either of these 3 games.
Roy, you mentioned the end of the Duke game, first time around, kind of a fluky ending with, as you said, a lot of things that kind of break their way, and they did. How do you approach that, or how did you approach that with the team? Not after the game, but after, you know, once you got the film.
Oh, after the game and the next day, I said, guys, they made plays. We can say they were lucky. You can say all that you want, but they made plays. I mean, I think that the play that Trey made, throwing the ball off the rim that direction and then getting it to bounce out like that, was incredible. And it would be hard to simulate. But you know what? He did it. That's the only thing that matters. Lucky or not lucky, he did it. And so that's what I said to our team, is that they made plays, and we had plenty of opportunities. You know, we missed free throws. They missed 2 free throws and got the offensive rebound. You know, and it's something just as little as Armando being silly and getting 2 fouls hugging around when we've coached that 1,000,000 times, and he got 2 fouls. So 2 + 3 equals 5, and he's sitting on the bench. It might have helped us to have a bigger guy in on those missed free throws. And so it's so many things like that, but they made plays. That's the bottom line. And we had some opportunities to make those plays not be as big as they were, and we didn't do it. And you know, somebody said that one of the, and I don't know what the crap they're talking about, okay, but that there was a 99% chance of us winning the game at some stage in the game. Now that's pretty hard for me to figure out, but the bottom line is we lost the game, and we lost the game because Duke University made the plays. And well, I think we did have some opportunities that we could have made those plays not as big, but we didn't. A turnover, missed free throws, more than one, not rebounding on a free throw attempt. When one time we had 4 guys on the lane, and the ball bounced off to the right side, and there one guy was able to tap it out. Well, do a better job boxing him out. It's pretty simple. And so I thought during the entire time there was nothing negative I could say about their play, because they made every play they had to make, and Trey was phenomenal down the stretch. We couldn't stop him. He made every shot and chased the ball down after his missed free throw and made a shot to send it in overtime. So we can say all things, and you know, people say, "Oh, lucky." By golly, it ain't luck. I've never won a game on luck, and I've never lost a game on luck. Is they made plays and we didn't.
It's a rare occasion when you're trying to intentionally miss a free throw. How much time over the course of the season do you spend on that with your players?
Not much. You know, we have a play, we have something we like to do, and Marvin Williams one time said, "God, I don't even realize that people did things like that." And I said, "Well, yeah, but whether they worked on it one day or 100 days, they made it during when it was needed to play." And 10 Cup, Kevin Costner says, "I'll bank it off that Porta-John." Well, that's pretty lucky the Porta-John is sitting there, okay, but you still got to make the daggum play. So they banked one off the Porta-John and went and got it and made it. But yeah, it's all-time preparation and thinking that way. But that is, guys, that is incredibly hard to do, what he did, and to get it to bounce to that side. And if you stand there and throw the ball at the free throw at the rim to get it to bounce back, most of the time you're going to miss it. Most of the time if you hit it, it'll go straight down. You know, because the ball's coming from here. Think about it, it's hard to get the ball to go from up there to hit something and bounce out there. So it was incredibly hard, but they've worked on it. Trey said after the game they've worked on it, and but it's still incredibly hard to do, but he did it.
Going back to Garrison, the last couple of weeks, some of the guys have referenced his work ethic and the personal standard they say that he has. What have you seen from him in that respect, and how does he compare to some of the guys that have had pretty dynamic work ethics?
He hasn't changed. I mean, last year in the NCAA tournament, he gets terrible cut mouth and everything, and You know, a lot of guys wouldn't make it back out. He came back and played the whole second half, and he looked terrible. And, I mean, blood everywhere, and what was it, 8 stitches or something crazy in his mouth, and he came back and played. So if they think he's doing something now, it just means they didn't open their eyes until recently, because he's been doing those kind of things last year and this year. He's the one guy that has stepped up when he has some aches and pains and put them behind him and still played.
Well, when you played such an emotional game like the first one, essentially a classic first game, do you have to change anything in terms of making sure players don't get caught up into, you know, making it bigger than it is and making, I want to say like trying to live up to the first game, like trying to make it some epic.
You know, and it may be wrong, but I probably do fewer things to try to get them ready to play Duke than anybody else we do, because everybody else makes it, so I don't have to. You know, before we played last time, you saw every game since Adam and Eve. One of them played for Duke, one of them played for Carolina. They had every game on TV, and so it's a big game for that reason there. The second game, you always try to make amends, whether you win or lose. The one team always loses, so they try to do a better job in the second game. But I think that our goal would be to try to play as well as we can play and see what happens over there. But that's basically the way that I'm looking at it. We're not going to get the tape out from the last game and say, watch what we didn't do here and look how lucky they were, and watch what you could have done here and look how silly this was. We're not going to do that. We're going to pick out 20 plays, 25 plays, and I would guess 10 of them would be our game, but the other 15 would be from other games that Duke could play, and we'll show them the clips in the scouting report, and then move on. They know what happened last game. You know, I don't have to tell them. I would hope that it would be that kind of game again, because we had a chance to win at the end. I would like for it to be that kind of game where it goes down, and for the most part, our games against them have been really good basketball games, really competitive basketball games. I remember in 2010 they beat us by 307 in the last game over there, and I left that night and drove to Wilmington and went for a walk 7 times during the day. I killed one of my buddies. He said, I'm tired, you know, but I just couldn't stand sitting around. And these guys came out down at Wrightsville Beach, said, Coach, God, you got killed yesterday. I said, you don't think I know that? You know, that kind of thing. So I told them I appreciated them coming out and telling me. But I would hope that it would be that kind of game where we would have a chance to win at the end.
What do you like about going over there?
What do I like? It's a wonderful atmosphere. It's what I love about college basketball. I think it's the best rivalry that there is in college athletics. I'm flattered that I've used that word many times. I'm flattered to be involved in it. I love the atmosphere. I mean, just the pageantry of the game, and I just don't love the way it ends sometimes, and don't love the way we play sometimes. But sometimes I've loved it as much as you could possibly imagine.
Time for a couple more questions. Coach, how often do you talk to Coach K? Like y'all call each other in the season, or like what's y'all's relationship like?
Before the game, I say good luck, and after the game, I say congratulations, and then we do it again the second time, and we talk at the conference meetings, and if there's an issue in college basketball, he and I talk about it a lot because we have that much respect for each other. He called me a couple of months ago about something else related to college basketball. I shouldn't say a couple, it was after Christmas, we talked about that. If there's a big issue or something that we're concerned about, we talk about, and it is, because it's complete and total respect, complete. But I've said this before, you know, guys, we don't get together and put our hands together and sing Kumbaya, God Almighty. It's, you know, you're working your butt off for your school, with your team, with your program. He doesn't play golf, so I don't get with him like I do Tubby Smith or Lon Kruger, something like that. Some of those guys, if we're together on a Nike trip, I haven't been the last several of them, and he hadn't been either. But when I go, we play poker at night, and he doesn't play, and I play. You know, so it's But I don't think you have to do those kind of things. I was trying to think. I mean, if it relates to basketball, I have total confidence in his look on things, and if I'm confused, I'll call him, and I think it's probably the other way around. But in the off season, guys, I'm either working, I'm with my family, or I'm teeing it up. I'm not inviting him to my birthday party, okay, and he's not inviting me to anything that goes on with his family. And so we see each other on the road, and we always talk, and but it's I think it's a healthy relationship. I really do.
Will you indulge me a couple of ACC tournament questions?
Okay.
Did you pick out your 1978 jacket, since the tournament will have the same value for you this time?
You know, you may have heard. I mean, the outfit I wore Saturday was just or Tuesday, whenever we played Tuesday. It was called a shave. It told me that was his favorite outfit, and he was a senior, and I wore it then. In my closet right now, it's a funny thing, and it'd be funny to have a camera so I could show you. I'll open one jacket, and I've got a piece but lost at Notre Dame. Another one lost at Pitt. Another one, lost at home to Clemson. I'm running out of coats. Yeah, so I'm running out of coats. You know, I'm going to keep them, but I'm not going to ever wear them to games again. But no, 78. I remember 78, 79 season. My first year here, I remember the 7-0 game at their place, and then 7 days later we beat them in the tournament finals. So I've got a lot of great ACC tournament memories.
Are you not happy to be in that situation, but you're in a situation where the tournament matters again to you? It's probably been a minute or two for you.
Yeah, it's. I'm not happy. It's something I don't enjoy, being where we are, but we played our way there. I coached my way there, and it's something that you own it. I'm so tired of saying it's what it is. I bet I've said that more this year than I've ever said in my doggone life. Is, guys, it's what it is. But most of the time talking to my staff when I say that. But I've never been there this early, but we played ourselves into that spot. I'm not happy about it, but you know what? When it starts, it gives us another chance, and I like that part.
You are known as a spokesman for the ACC tournament throughout your history. This feels like a last hurrah for Greensboro. I know it'll be back there eventually, but
probably not in my life. It could be.
Are you wistful that there's no more Greensboro stops, just because it's meant so much?
I look at it differently, because once the tournament starts and you get there, I'm only worried about how our team plays, period, the end. When I step back and look at the big picture, I think Greensboro has been a marvelous, marvelous site for our ACC tournament. I think that at one point, the thing about going to Brooklyn or going here, going there, I said, it's fine. I think it's changed a little bit, for example, because we used to think in terms of going to New York because it was the media capital of the world. It's not the media capital of the world anymore. Everybody's got one of these, so everybody's their own media capital. But I've never minded going some other place to play the ACC tournament. Have we ever won one in Greensboro?
Have we?
Yeah. I mean, since I've been here. That's damn. I don't go back to
Tampa, Charlotte, and D.C.
Jack Cobb.
No,
you know, I
Tampa,
didn't coach
Charlotte,
Jack Cobb. So we never won one in Greensboro, but I've always thought that that's the best place to play. But again, that's when I step back and look at the big picture, because when we go there and play, wherever it is, I'm just worried about how we're playing. But I think the city of Greensboro, the history they've had, the way the people appreciate it, everybody knows the tournament's going on. I'm still just, it's the funniest thing in the world is that when we went to Brooklyn and got back to the hotel, and guys, they got the door, said, Coach, what are you guys doing here? You know, I'm not lying. That was asking. I said, I'm here to play golf. I just brought my basketball players with me. You know, that kind of thing. Anybody else?
Thank you. Get the players out on the court.
Thank you, guys.
Should be Garrison,